Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is 12 o'clock, second video of the week. I have a little bit of ground to cover here, so I'm going to try to be as precise as I can be. Most recent news, kind of getting a little bit of the backdrop, is we have ongoing conflict news with Iran. Just recently, a report just came out, and I want to say within the last 10 minutes, that the Hormuz blockade, that they are not allowing certain vessels through, that created a quick spike in oil right here. So oil has gone up. As you can see, it's really come down quite a bit, and it popped up today. USO, which I am still short USO, USO popped up 3.5%. I'm no longer short UCO. I talked about this in the beginning of the week. Let's see where that's at. So that popped up 4.58, right at the top of that average. That looks shortable in my opinion. Any case, just wanted to point that out. So we have this ongoing conflict, and it just continues and continues and continues to create a problem for the backdrop of the market. A lot of economists and pundits have come out and said that the Fed, I was reading some reports, the Fed should turn hawkish and raise rates because of inflation. I disagree. I don't feel that data warrants that, but I'm not an economist and I'm not a Fed chair, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm going to kind of go over some interesting things, some decoupling, some correlations, and some things like that. I'm going to illustrate Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is held up. I've talked about this. This looks constructively very positive. I said that on Monday. It has not done anything, but it looks constructively very positive. More interesting is gold. I'm going to say I think I think the bottom is in for gold. I did buy a couple gold coins on Costco's website yesterday morning, only because this trade here did not reflect in Costco's price. So I bought some American Eagle coins. I usually buy a couple here or there, and I buy them with like a credit card that gets me 2% back with my Costco membership. So I ended up buying them, got 4 or 5% off, and whatever. It's more of a hedge for me. But the one I'm going to be looking at in the event that the bottom is in is going to be Anglo Gold Ashanti. This did great in the beginning of the year, towards the end of last year. It really raged up with the price of gold. It's a minor. I'm going to keep my eye on this. This is on my watch list. I'm going to consider options. I didn't really love the option chain on this, so I have to really pay attention to that. Also, in the event that gold turns, I'm going to, GLD is something that is probably the component that everybody plays. So I'll be looking at this going out. So anyways, we talked about gold. Let's go into the NASDAQ specifically, what we had. So we had, not to beat a dead horse, we had 4 sessions straight up right off the bottom. Yesterday, I talked about Monday's video. Was it Monday? Monday's video. Was it Monday? Shit, I think it was Monday's video. I think we were here on Monday, and I said we needed to get a follow-through day on Tuesday. We got that follow-through day Tuesday. Sorry, that was this day. Yesterday, we gave back a couple hundred points and fell below that average, which is the 50. And now we're still above the 21, holding on to the 5 that was curling up. So you had to expect after 4 very straight up sessions off the bottom. Look, we had back in April, I think we had some record number of like 14 sessions before we gave back any. It doesn't always happen. I like to look at past precedent as well. Here when we came off the tariff tantrum last year, had probably 8 or 9 sessions and gave some back. So, as I mentioned on Monday, fools rush in. You need to have confirmation. I still want to be on a power trend before I completely activate, but I did admittedly buy some stuff yesterday because of that follow-through day on Tuesday, and I really wanted to try to catch some stuff and have a little exposure to the market that I had removed myself from. This is a subtle pullback. I wouldn't read too much into this, 1/4 basis point down. The most important component is not to lose this number here. You don't want to give back that, because that would be an indication that we got trapped and people were buying into this FOMO. And that's why I'm always so hesitant in making sure we get confirmation so that we're not buying into FOMO, because everybody tends to just you could probe the market on this move, but you should not be going balls to the wall here. You should wait till we take out this and then break out, and that's when you start really accelerating. So, okay. With that said, I'm going to start with memory, just because memory is probably the main driver of the market. SanDisk. So SanDisk down a little bit less than 5%. And so here's the thing. They had their earnings yesterday. Their earnings were not bad. They're spending a lot of money on CapEx, and that's what kind of hurt them, and that's what pushed down the stock in after hours. I'm going to say, though, the stock got pushed down in after hours. However, no volume at all. So I said if they can't push the stock down, the stock is bound to recover. So admittedly, this morning, the stock was down over 10%. I had to buy shares ahead of that. So I did buy shares. However, I did take a trade on SanDisk that did not work out, and I'm going to go into that. So I have now bought shares into SanDisk, so I now have a position, not a large position, so to say, but I have about a half a position of what I would normally have. So SanDisk opened up this morning down to 1,163. In a sense, got back 100 and something dollars. I'm going to go on record. I think this is going to come close to closing in the green today, or maybe down 1 or 2%. Earnings were fantastic, by the way. I don't really know what else they could have done. I did play this, which is down 10%, and I know some people played it with me. 18% stop. So I played this, and I don't normally talk about the size of my plays. So it was an earnings, so I did $10,000. Whether it's options, and I'm just only giving it to you so you can understand perspective. I like to keep that personal, and I think everybody should kind of have, because everybody's got different size. So I did it. It was a $10,000 trade, if I'm not mistaken, on just this. And then I bought a couple shares of SanDisk, and then now I bought more shares this morning. I have not sold this because I have a stop loss set up I did this right before the bell, and I want to say it was 18%. Normally I would never do that, but this is a double leverage. So we're going to see how today goes. If this breaches that, I have not been stopped out. Even at the open, I was not stopped out. If this breaches that, I will get stopped out. And really the breach is right there. So didn't work. Can't get them all right. Micron, I bought Micron yesterday. I bought this. Even on this. So I started a new position in Micron, about 75% of what I would normally start on position-wise, to give you some context. So I'm in Micron now as a trade. I think this looks like the best memory name in the entire market. And I wanted to probe the market on the follow-through day. So here we are. I have Micron. Let me touch on some memory names that I know some people are in. I have to do this for everybody else. I'm not in Penguin. I got stopped out a while back. I got stopped out here somewhere. I don't remember exactly. So here's what I would say. If it could get above these averages, I'm going to get right back in, because Penguin had great earnings. I just need to see it get above the average and close this gap. I would love to see it close this gap here, but more importantly, this gap. And then I'll get back in. So Penguin doesn't look bad. Came off the bottom pretty strong. I think it had some serious capitulation there on selling, and people got exhausted. And so to kind of give you an understanding why this happened, if you don't know who Leopold is, that was a hedge fund manager, a German guy who got over leveraged. Memory names, he got bought out by Ken Griffin last week. But more so, I think, we're certain of this now in hindsight, the reason all these memory names crashed out is everybody got over leveraged in the memory names, and a lot of Korean funds and a lot of different institutions were levered to the gills. And then that's what created this basically liquidation, which made this fall, and we've come to learn this. And I still think that we are in an uptrend in memory names, and I don't anticipate that to change at all. However, I follow the rules, so when I get stopped out, I get stopped out. But with that said, Penguin still looks good. I think that's it for memory. I'm going to go into some other names that are working and some things that are not working. It's been tough sledding, to say the least, the last couple weeks. I bought Corning on I mentioned this. This has actually worked out good. This was my first probe. I'm up a little bit over 12% on this. This was my first probe in the market. I'm still holding this. This looks great. This is not financial advice, but rather for educational purposes. This looks like a buy to me. If I didn't own it, I probably would be buying this. That was the first one that I probed the market with. I am looking for confirmation, and I'm going to double my position because I only did a half position. So that one's working out. Going to go into some stocks that we sold as well. This is let this be a true case study why you have to err on the side of caution with earnings. And so I am very explicit when I tell people in chats. For you guys, you know who you are. I spoke to so many of you today with SanDisk. You still have to mitigate your downside risk. Capital preservation is in the forefront of your mind. When you go into earnings events, these are massive events that can kill you or make you or break you, right? You have to lighten up, and you can play them like I played them. I took a $10,000 swing at SanDisk on a double levered. Did not work. I'm down. I mean, relatively speaking, I'm down $1,000. So I'm just keeping it in context right now. It's not a big deal. But these are small little swings you could take on earnings. I took that swing, didn't work. I sold this last week entirely, and I think I made it on one of my videos. I sold this to take profits before the day of the Fed speech. More than anything, I got lucky. But if I owned this going into earnings, I would have at least cut half, or I would have hedged. Down 40%. For dear God, people, this, I don't know if any of us own, I don't know if anybody else owns this. I sold this last week, like I said, before the Fed meeting. But this is terrible. Like, if you own a stock and it gets craps out 40%, yikes. All right. Done with that. Liquidia, one that I still own, but I am looking to chop a little bit of this out. This is another one. I mean, they have earnings next week. Be aware of that. You should always look at your earnings dates. It looks great so far, but I'm going to chop some of that. IMNM up today, reports earnings today. I love this. This is a conviction name, but I'm going to hedge my position. So what I say by that is I love this name a lot. I am up quite a bit on this. So today, before the end of the day, I'm going to either chop 25% and maybe buy covered calls against my position. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Or I might buy some puts and keep my position and have insurance. No matter what, I'm not going into earnings today with a company that is a bio name with over, I don't know, 20% profit. I probably have, if not more. I'm not going into earnings with over 20% profit without protecting myself. So please protect yourself. TGTX, I mentioned this Monday. Look, got chopped on earnings. Granted, nowhere near as bad. Actually had a pretty good earnings report, 10%. I bought the dip on that one. It's worked. It got gobbled up on Monday, gobbled up Tuesday and Wednesday. Like every day it got gobbled up. So, I still think this looks really constructive. I happen to love this name, but I will always protect myself going into earnings. So that handles bio for where we are on bio names. Now let's move into some other names. AMD, we're going to do the chips real quick. AMD had their earnings. Lisa Su sandbagged it. I played Intel instead of AMD on earnings because I did not want to play AMD. The call chain, the option chain was an absurdly premium juiced. I avoided that. They got hit 7-8% down yesterday. Earnings are great, fantastic. This is going to get bought up. For those of you that are investors, this is a buying opportunity. You could see the upgrade of $700. Raymond James upgraded them. So this is one, I own it in my IRA. Admittedly, I made the first purchase yesterday to add since maybe 2 years ago. So I said, I don't want to trade it, but I did that. So Intel going with the chips, staying with that. I bought some calls. I broke even on them. I sold half of them at the end of the day yesterday and half of them this morning. I didn't make any money. I didn't lose any money. Whoop-de-doo. Intel looks okay. I don't own it anymore. As you guys already probably know, I got stopped out. But this looks really good. It's at that $100 magnet. This is on my watch list if the market can cooperate. I want to own this name again. Intel and Penguin I'd like to own again. I now own Micron again. Dell, which is still my favorite name in the market. This is the box, right? It broke out of the box and now it's back in the box. And I hate that it's back in the box. It was today's move, put it down. The question is can it close above 467? Probably unlikely. I still like this. It's down 3-4% today. Not the end of the world, guys. It hit a record high yesterday. So let's talk about that. Record high yesterday. It's up almost 30% over the last 2 weeks. Down 3-4% today. Not the end of the world. I think this is going to go to $800. Maybe not in short order, but I think it is. So Dell still my favorite stock chart-wise in the market. All right, I digress. Let's keep going here. So this is a little bit longer video than normal because I have to touch on a couple things. Amazon, own this in my IRA, got crushed yesterday. Jeff Bezos is selling. You see the headline. Oh, no, not that headline. Sorry. Let's see if I could find it. You see this big sell here? This is all Bezos. He let go of a ton of shares. I don't think it shows here yet because this hasn't been updated. You'll probably see the headlines somewhere here. Bezos unloads 350 million. This guy's just selling up a storm. I don't love that. It doesn't show a lot of confidence, though. I think Amazon's a great company. I just hate seeing that. Whatever. I mean, it's not going anywhere. Microsoft mentioned this on Monday. This is probably besides Dell, one of the best looking stock charts in the market. If you're looking for something to buy and you need to have some exposure, for dear God, Microsoft looks fantastic. Google, so a couple people stepped down yesterday. That created a 5% drawdown. I think that was a buying opportunity. I think this is a buying opportunity. I think this is a screaming buy today. 5% down yesterday on a couple people resigning. We're the head of AI. If you don't know the report, I'd suggest you go read about it. This is a buying opportunity. Google, I own this in my IRA. I don't love trading Google, so I don't know that I'm going to really do anything about it. So just pointing it out. SpaceX, I closed my short yesterday. So they got crushed on earnings. So a couple things. They couldn't push the stock down more than like 12% yesterday. So I just think that the risk reward of holding it, I was up over 35% on my short I made in total. I'm out. I'm going to wait and see how this plays out. The lockup period is next week where investors can sell. I have no position either way. I'd like to be able to buy this stock on the long side, but I kind of like it around $80 is really where I think the fair valuation is. So probably $75, $80. But for right now, no position. I have no intentions of buying it right now and no intentions of shorting it right now. So I'm out of that. All right, let's keep it moving. I have to do some requests for some people that asked me a couple things. I am going to go into a stock that I like. Oh, sorry. Software. Before I go anywhere, I'm piled into software. Software's down 2.5 or 2% today. This looks good still. So I don't know how else to say it. I have a lot of IGV. A lot of software names are getting hit today. One name that I own that is getting just absolutely crushed today is down 6%. It is literally skating the thin line of getting stopped out. I think I'm like 2% away from getting stopped out. They have earnings today. I didn't take a huge position, but I want to hold this into earnings. I don't have a huge position. It's like 30% of what my normal size would be. But long story short, yeah, so software. I think they have earnings today. I think they're going to do good. What else do I have here? Oh, this is another good-looking stock that I bought. I think I bought this on Monday. It was Monday I bought this, ManpowerGroup. So this is a staffing recruiter company. If you've been paying attention, recruiters for employment is a thing of, it's just becoming all the talk of the town, and everybody uses recruiters. As a business owner myself, I can relate. This company is probably best in class. If you're looking to buy a stock that has strong momentum, a different segment that not as sexy, ManpowerGroup, I bought this on, I want to say it was like after the video Monday. It was Monday. Anyways, I'm up a couple points, just seeing if it could break out. I have a really tight stop on this. So if this doesn't work out, I'll know very quickly. I think the stop is somewhere in that area. So anyways, ManpowerGroup, I own that. That was a new purchase. So the only ones that I bought this week are ManpowerGroup and Corning. Corning is working out fantastic. And then obviously my sales that I talked about was like letting go of SpaceX, covering that short. And then oil, we'll see how oil pans out today. I might, if it could get up a little bit higher, I might add to that short. And I'm going to add to that short on USO. So you've got earnings today after the bell with a couple names. I'm going to keep my eye on those. Let me do Owl real quick as a special request from an individual that owns Blue Owl. Owl is down, but this came screaming off the bottom. I know this company. I've done a lot of research on them. Looks like it has some legs, but it needs to pull back, having those 5 or 4 trading sessions that are strong. Coming up against the 200-day, you see how it got rejected right there, hard. That's always the point of resistance. This is a stock that got beat up pretty bad. I mean, this was trading back in the beginning of 25 at $26. I mean, geez Louise. I mean, getting chopped down to like $8 is a tough pill to swallow. So anyways, Blue Owl looks good at the moment. And that is it. So everything is going to I'm tongue-tied here. The theory and the theme with Iran is going to move everything. The one thing to keep in mind is that we're going to go into the weekend and Trump will probably do one of his ceasefire things. So we'll see how that goes. And then you see the headline, the firm data report. Yeah, we kind of talked about that at the top of the show. So anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. Keep your eye on the prize. Let's pay attention to SanDisk. I am interested to see how this closes. Probably my largest area of interest is focused right here. I really want to see them close on the higher side, and that would give me some confirmation. All right, guys, have a great weekend.